So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Coffee Club. We created this club to provide a safe space for women to share and inspire each other and learn from a different presenter each week. So, Ruth, so grateful for you to be speaking for us today, and welcome again, all of you. Ruth, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to choose the topic about manifesting as the creator.
Oh, look, thank you for inviting me along. Okay, it's like my absolute pleasure. Manifesting as a creator is the only way that we actually manifest, okay, because we are creators. And so the first thing that I like to bring us back to is our own identity as a creator, because I think that a lot of us have missed that point. We're not quite sure. So we have a lot of things back to front and upside down when it talks to, when we're encouraging people in the world, we're talking to them from perhaps a mental body construct. Whereas if we can come around to our identity as being a living essential creator, then we've got all the power in the world to move mountains and make things happen on behalf of ourselves, our families and communities. So it's a different way of looking at anything. So today I'd like to really roll it out, okay, as I usually do. So some may have heard of this before, but where we're coming to now in a direct conscious state in the new earth, okay, in the new consciousness that's coming through, everything is being upgraded. Our light bodies are being upgraded to being able to fully come into our multidimensional selves. And so people are experiencing amazing things. And I'd rather be talking about that than stuff through a mental body construct. Does that make sense? Do you want me
Yes.
to go ahead?
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Ruth, for those who are not familiar with you.
So I mean, I was a pretty broken person, so I had to actually heal myself, okay, like most of us. And it's been like a 30-year journey. When I was 28, I went back into the church and had a look at what I was taught as a child, and then started unpacking Christ consciousness within me. And as I began to do that, found myself going through initiation processes, okay, of which is a growth, okay, becoming more in an expanded nature and understanding universal law. So back in 2017, I'd organized my Diamond Matrix Masters schools, teaching all of the high points that I learned through my initiation processes. And when you actually add that to your own self, which is removing things that no longer serve, okay, like pain bodies, wounded child, all of the healings that need to take place, we can then at some point initiate into meeting our triune being, which is our soul, which keeps us upright on our feet. And so I always introduce that as the first thing. If your soul pulled out of the top of your head right now, think about it. This is really important because this is our identity. If our soul pulled out of the top of our head right now, what would our body do? It'd fall on the ground. Okay. You want medical science? You don't need medical science. You need energetic science. Okay. We need science of the soul, consciousness. Okay. That's our power. And within that power is our triune being. So I've written all of this out, okay, in a book. So I have authored a book called Diamond Matrix Masters Self-Mastery Level 1. It's deadly, okay, and it's still as relevant today as the day that I wrote it, because it's teaching us how to take on more and more of our God self. Did you hear those words? God self, okay? Not our little pointy us in the body walking around, because we're usually back to front and upside down to ourselves going, please help me. No, our God self is me. I am here. I am a living being, and I have a triune being within me that is full power and able to create on my own quantum field that's inside my body. So I've been sharing this for a long time, and the healing power is becoming richer and richer every day. So it's becoming very powerful, the work that I'm doing, or we're doing it now as a group. okay, as a collective consciousness, and we've raised this Earth's frequency because of all of us applying this. So that's a little bit about me.
So why did you decided why did you decided to study this?
I find it so hard to talk about myself, Rini.
No,
Okay, so
I find it very
yeah,
intriguing that
like I said, I was very broken. Okay, so I had a lot of problems in that I would have like a nervous breakdown every 6 months because I was sexually abused. I was a young Christian person, taught that these things should not happen until marriage. Okay, there's so many big frameworks here that just were, I was broken and I needed to heal. And I remember meeting this older woman because I have a nursing background, and she was a very bitter old woman, you know, at the age of 80. And I go, you know what? If I don't heal myself, I'm going to end up like her. And I go, what a waste of life. So then I started to really get into understanding what my beliefs were, what was truth and what wasn't. So I went through a massive journey of study and just kept initiating into the next and the next and the next as my my own soul, my triune being guided me. And so I learned to trust, and I learned to trust my messages that came through. I realized that we don't make mistakes if we're following our guidance. And so I'm actually just sharing simple structures that assist people to turn around and move even today, you know, to be able to function as a living soul rather than one wandering around in the mental and emotional bodies that get stuck in this world's frameworks.
tell us more about that. How that works, how this diamond matrix work.
Okay, so we've established that we're a triune being. So the triune being within us, our God self, okay, is our natural creatorship. Inside of us is a tree of life. Think about that. That's a true living essence of me, of you. And inside us, we're multidimensional beings. See, the God self is everything to connect in it. When I'm actually in my power, when I come through and talk and engage, okay, I find my God self, my soul fills my heart's center. Okay, my energetic body comes on, and that's what I set up is people's light bodies. It's quite simple. But what we do is then understand the power of running the energy, because a lot of us aren't running energy, you know, kind of disconnected. But when you actually have all of your body chemistry sorted, your light body turned on, okay, and understand how it works, there is a quantum field inside of our bodies. So we often think that it's somewhere else that we've got to go searching for. It's actually inside our DNA. It's inside my body. It's inside your body. Isn't that cool? I mean, you are so cool. You don't have to go looking for this. It's inside you because it's how you are made. And in that part of you that is your God self, you are the divine feminine. And we hear people talking about it all the time, but they actually don't understand how to roll with it. Divine feminine. And she is utter exquisiteness. Okay, she is opulent, and you can draw on her for intuition, okay, true creations. Most people, I find, when they're back to front and upside down, are doing 3% creations instead of 100% creations. So if we drew on our intuition, one day my divine feminine came through and she kind of pushed me out of the way and said, excuse me, I get 100% return on everything that I put out. And I'm going, oh, respect. Okay. And I set my little pointy me aside, the little Ruthie, okay, aside to listen, okay, and to understand that that part of me actually gets full return on what I'm creating as a vibrational world of anything that I'm focused on. Okay. So I will get 100% outcomes instead of something that comes together. It pixelates as a great idea, and then it falls apart. And then you're working on something else, and then it doesn't work out and it falls apart. So we're already pixelating through our divine being, but then it falls apart. And that's the frustrating part of many of us actually live with. So this is cleaning up that understanding. The second part of us is the divine masculine. And the divine masculine, he's not broken. He's not wounded. Your divine feminine is not broken either. Not wounded, whole. Okay, because we came from light, and we are light, and we expand as light. The divine masculine works generally with your physicality, the right-hand side of your brain and head and body. And when you have these channels running purely through you, you have all of your axonal lines completed, your brain chemistry is balanced, and you understand then when you're turned on, when you're lit up, okay, that the power comes through to initiate change, okay, or not really change, but your next creation. You just expand into the next thing that is coming through for you to focus on. It's a completely different way. So your divine masculine is your doing power. So physically, and I remember meeting him in the first place, and I had to do a little bit of healing around it, which is a part of my school and what I do with the Diamond Quantum School, to heal the divine masculine and our old relationships with him that's a little bit frightened because we've been hurt or abused. But the divine masculine is this amazing doing power that goes, Ruthie, you can have whatever you want. Do you want champagne with that? Okay, it's so beautiful. Do you want champagne with that? Do you want a couple of tickets to the opera? You can have anything that you want. Okay, you can live a rich and opulent life when you actually understand these parts of yourself. And the third part of your triune being is your divine inner child. And your divine inner child is not hurt, it's not wounded, okay, it's not in pain. And people have this misconcept. There's a big gap of understanding, okay, because we keep saying, oh, my divine child is wounded. No, they are not. And they are not just skipping and dancing little parts of yourself. That's where the joy and adventure is, absolutely. But I asked my divine inner child one day, what do you really do? The next minute, I was just lifted up in the spirit and taken to Hawaii. And it was like I had this full experience of Hawaii. So the inner child, divine inner child, is the actual manifester of your living experience. Isn't that cool? So when you show up in an experience that is rich and loving and the adventure is on, you're excited with those feelings of anticipation, that's your divine inner child delivering to you what has already been in your soul script. Okay, so before you came in, you can actually relax, okay, because it's already done. You've already created your path. Okay, when you're praying for something outside of yourself, when you're back to front and upside down, you're actually asking yourself what you're meant to be doing, okay, what you're meant to be creating. But in actual fact, when we're still and we step back from the construct of this separation that we've been taught, okay, and that's what you find in my part called Don't Play the Game. It shows you how this 3D construct works and how not to play, how not to participate as a creator. Okay, so there's two types of creators. There's actually only one, okay, but one day a lady was having problems, and many years ago, and I was frustrated when I got off the call, and I said, gosh, what is this? Like this, what is the problem? Why can't we break through? And this beautiful message came through, and you should write it down because it's pure wisdom. A conqueror needs a battle to overcome, but a victor has the gates open before them. So what happens is the little pointy me, okay, is back to front and upside down trying to slaughter this world, conquer this world, okay? And that's where we get these mindset teachings. It's like, do this, do this, do this, do this, keep conquering, battle, okay? When in actual fact, if we're in alignment, turned on, my God self is present, okay, then I'm in the victor. The victor has the gates open before them. And if you think of heads of state, you don't see them even pushing the gate open because the gates are opening before them and their entourage just walks through. And this is the difference in being a little pointy me creator, which is pixelating worlds, because I've still got my board of directors, I've got my triune being. But if I'm utilizing it through being separated, then I'm trying to force with my little will. I'm a creator, I can do it either way. So I can either be a conqueror or I can actually be my God self. Okay. So if I'm actually forcing things to happen, I'm working with what's called my egoic self. And I'm not into crushing the ego, and I don't talk about the ego because you guys, we've all suffered this egoic teaching, all right? And all we're trying to do is smash and crush that part of ourselves. And when you're trying to crush something, okay, then you're not living. We've got this that we can tap into in a holy instant. Okay, we can turn our light on in a holy instant, and that's what I teach you. So it's sort of like the difference between that. You see, when I'm in alignment with my soul, and when my triune being is turned on, my God self is present, there is no ego. How cool's that? That's like a load off. Oh my God, I don't have to change or fix myself. And that's what the Course of Miracles says. There's nothing to change or fix. You come out of learning. Isn't this learning a great big thing that's been given to us in the spiritual teachings? It's a false teaching, okay? It is only because we've been taught to stay in struggle and minimize ourselves, okay, as little people that need struggle. That's the whole religious framework. That's the dogma that keeps us on our knees, okay? And then all of these spiritual teachings as we're coming up. I love this picture, okay, if you have a look. This is the 3D. Not sure how I'm mirroring this. And we're coming up through that little tiny pointy us. Humanity is like here. But in actual fact, this is our multidimensional self. And this is where time is collapsing as we are. So this is actually also in our bodies. So our bodies is this. So heart upwards, okay, through the chakra systems is our tree of life connection to source. And the lower part of us is the lower three seals, okay, which keeps us in struggle and survival. And so I teach on how your chakras actually work. I don't really teach on that. There's tons of teaching out there, but I would prefer that you're coming out of struggle as a creator, because you are a creator. So why would you focus on the struggle when we can actually focus on our God self and create through pure intuition? It's like there's no mistakes and there's nothing to work on. There is only you being present. And when you start feeling your God self coming out of your chest, you know that you've got the authority of creation within you and it is present. And this is this is what the power of now teaching is. The power of now. How do I get into the now? How do I go? Well, you need to be able to turn on your light body and go into your God self connection. And that's what I do is, and part of my work is to initiate you into your God connection and start proving it to you, because your mental body goes, oh, I'm too broken, I can't be that. I go, oh, yes, you can. Let's do the brain chemistry reset, take out a few plugs and programs, okay? Open your heart center. That's an initiation process. People are going through heart chakra openings and they think they're having heart attacks. It's something that goes on for hours. It is spiritual work here involved. Spiritual work, because your body is opening and your body is what is here on planet that's now carrying the new consciousness. Everything that's in, even the atoms that you're breathing now, have got the new Rosetta codes in them. Okay, the love, this love, breathe it in and out of you. Whatever you're seeing that is an anomaly from 3D that you don't agree with, you go, no, You need to know your authority and go, no, I'm not doing that. No, I will not believe a negative report. And this is what I do, is teach spiritual principles, because what you sow, you reap. I'm a quantum creator. That was the message behind all of this dogma, okay, was that we're quantum human beings. We have to understand quantum law so that we can say, no, I won't have that. I'll have this instead. And so we're only projecting wholeness into every thought that we have. With all of this, how are you going, Reenie? Do you want a break or?
Yes, I was just I mean there's this intriguing very interesting so in actual application to apply your teaching into a real application, can we kind of open it up and let just for you to help teach the real situation? So we start with Sandra. You want to kind of
I've got a little
say,
bit of internet wishy-washy happening there.
because she has to leave at 11. So go ahead, Sandra. If like, do you have a situation that how do you transform from Ruth's teaching into your real application as an example?
Yes, I've struggled with the imposter syndrome for years and years and years, and I think imposter syndrome as a name became more popular lately. But I always had that sense of not being enough, and oh, I'm not allowed to have that. I don't deserve it, and I know now after all these decades that goes through all of us. That's something all of us go through because we got separated. So your teachings are really pulling together so much of what I've learned, some from experience and a lot of my own healing work and a lot of my own chakra work. Just as recently as maybe 6 weeks ago, I went into a meeting and all of a sudden I recognized the imposter syndrome was gone. It was lifted off of my shoulders, which is beautiful. But even though it's lifted, I recognize that ego is with us forever. It's just about how much strength are we giving it, because without ego, we don't survive in this three-dimensional world. We have to have some worth for ourselves, in my opinion. But it's about keeping it in the navigation seat instead of in the driver's seat. Does that resonate, Ruth? Am I on the same wavelength as you are?
I'd like to introduce another part of my teaching to you, okay?
Okay.
What? By the way, that's totally correct. We are full of programs and we're disassociating and disconnecting these things that have been sucking our energies and keeping us disempowered.
And you can feel it when you release it because the energy goes up, the emotional energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I really want to just stay on track and just roll out my thought forms to come back to the God self, okay? Good. Part of my teaching is really big, and it's on the law of acquisition. It came to me as a dream many years ago. Law of acquisition. You say, is that like the law of attraction? Well, kind of, but no. Okay, so there's two parts of, and this is the little will creates a law of acquisition with everything. Okay, so
Yes.
if you can't create universally, the little will has to narrow things into what I call creation streams and creation wrapping. I want to demonstrate this to you, because if you understand this, you'll stop doing that and come back into your God self, okay?
Okay.
So I just want to impart this to this group. The law of acquisition is how things come to you. And as a creator, okay, either as the God self, which is 100% creations, or the little will brings through 3% creations, because it's trying to control things. How it does it, there's two lesser laws to it within it. There is creation streaming and creation wrapping. So if just for an example, if I said to you, think about your car right now, your vehicle, okay? You instantly have a story about it, okay? Now, don't tell me you didn't. You're either going to say, oh, I like it, it's new, or you say, no, I won't be able to get another one for another 10 years, okay, because my income's not enough. So you're actually, as a creator, creating stories immediately, which in a holy instant is wrapping your creation. If you wrap something with degrees of difficulty, so generally the law of acquisition is you as a little will creator creating something with degrees of difficulty. The other thing that the little will creator does is it creates a law of acquisition about where it gets its stuff. Okay, where am I going to get my money from? Where am I going to get anything from? Okay, and so instantly you go, I really want this, and I'll get this person, and I line up my ducks in a row, okay, to get what I want. Okay, and this is what the mental mind does, the mental body. So your physical body, mental body, emotional body, and spiritual body, all in one, walking around. But the mental mind takes over and says, this is where I get it from. Now, Rini, I would like to do a quick, like seriously, 1 minute visualization to prove this to you. Would you consider that?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
This is a simple thing. It's called red doors. Okay, so if everyone doesn't mind, just shutting your eyes for a minute. Okay. Shutting your eyes, tuning into yourself. I want you to put around you 30 red doors. 30 red doors. So it's red door to red door to red door, and you're sitting in the center of 30 red doors. I want you to see how many of those doors are open. How many doors are open? Are they half open? Fully open? And I want you to put your fingers in the air for me to show me how many of you have doors open. How many doors have you got open? Excellent. Thank you. Okay, now I want you to open all of your doors. Excellent. Open all of your doors. I want you to open all the way around the sides of you, all the way around the back of it. The back of you represents your heart center, and if they're closed, your heart center is not open. So energetically, we've got a few blockages going on. Now, that amount of red doors that were open for you, whether from nothing to something, generally is what most creators, little pointy creators, have streaming to them. And that is what a creation stream is. Okay, so that means that you've only got how many fingers that you put up of blessing flowing into your life. And generally, as a creation stream, and generally as creators, we're looking at income, so money. You can open your eyes up right now. Okay, now if you see yourself, okay, some people are able to blast those doors off them so there are no doors. That means as a God self-creator, and this is important, that you get rid of your creation streams. Okay, and this is what we're encouraged to do in the mental world, is that you've got to work hard, work hard, work hard on your creation stream. Well, if you've only got 1 or 2 creation streams and they're taking up 80 hours of your week, you're going to pass away exhausted. Okay, what if there weren't just those 2 honeypots, 4 honeypots? What if you're a living creator that thinks a thought and it comes to you? What if that thing just comes to you because you think it? What if you don't need a creation stream or a honeypot, okay, where normally the little will creator is having to pull everything, you know, only get paid once a fortnight, only get paid certain periods of time, and then I've got to pay everything out, and then I haven't got anything left. Okay, this is how the honeypot works, and that's how this system keeps you stuck within it. instead of being a God self-creator with the source that is you, okay, that is flowing out from you in every breath, okay, into the next and next and next. What if you saw, you know, a neighbor without a vehicle, and you knew that you could just bring a vehicle, and the vehicle comes to you and you take it over to them and give them a car? Okay. It was interesting watching the feed this week, because there's a lot of little will creators. I'm going, oh my God, let's just bring more stuff through. We don't have to self-protect when we're a creator. I can't be hurt. How can I be hurt? Why do I need to self-protect? I don't need self-protection. And these are all the frameworks that have to go so that we can actually be right now in the new consciousness that is full of innocence, purity, and rebirth. That's what we're in right now. Innocence, purity, rebirth. The power is here to be this. Okay? If we're still having to protect them, we're in our little self creating through 3D. Okay? I love that red doors, because it shows you what creation streaming is. It means that you're relying on something that is so minuscule. We need to think way bigger. In fact, get rid of your doors. Yes, play with your creation streams. But I want to say to you right now, there's a Google Maps sign. Think of a beautiful Google Maps sign. You know, the Google Maps icon? It's on top of your head. Okay. Now, when you order a pizza, okay, from a restaurant, okay, it does not go to the person next door and you don't get to eat your pizza. Okay. It comes to you wherever you physically are. Okay. It comes to your physical person. But you've got to know how to operate. You know, if you go, oh, what a great idea, the divine feminine's just dropped a thought for you. And I always just make it simple for kids even, you know, do your laundry. Better go do my laundry. Okay. So I get up immediately and respond to that and go and take my body into that next time and place to do what I've been guided to do. If I don't actually move into that next time and space to do it, then I'm not going to go on that road trip that I needed my laundry for. I just didn't quite know what was happening the day after. So it's coming down to a very distinct and clear way that the God self will lead you, because of why? That's you. You wrote your script before you came in. So the only person you're praying to and trying to connect with is you before you came in. And then we're meeting up with all these other glorious people. It's a total adventure. We don't know what we're going to do next, but it feels great. And I'm excited. My whole God self and inner child is in anticipation. Okay, it pours out of you. So when you sit back and don't get involved in the game, your law of acquisition will come to an end, because there's your law of acquisition as the little pointy creator, not the God self, the little pointy creator operates within these law frameworks. And this is all in my book. So I really do recommend you read it and understand it. Because when you stop doing that, if you can imagine being the Google Maps sign over the top of your head, this is my total address. I am my total address. I am here. Everything, where's my quantum field? Remember, it's in my body. It's in me. So if I turn up and I'm putting and creating on my quantum field without fear, without all of this nonsense, I'm not going to have laws of acquisitions that hold me in little tiny pixelated creations that fall apart. And they come together. Oh, and I'm excited, and I'm using affirmations. If you're using affirmations, I can promise you that you're back to front and upside down to yourself. Okay. Turn around, turn on your God self. And if you don't know how to do that, come and spend time with me, because that's what I do. Okay. Come here, open up your heart, get used to walking with power. Now, if anyone wants to receive right now the diamond energy, okay, I'm imparting it as we speak. So just receive. And I always like to receive it into the brain first, because most of us have our brain chemistry all mixed up. We're hardwired wrong. Only because of the fear that we've lived in. Okay, we can actually release that right now. And do you know what? You have the same result of just receiving the diamond consciousness, which is the Christ consciousness, pure source energy, which is every particle of this living creation that we actually are. So your body is a perfect creation with your perfect blueprint that genetically remembers your angelic self. And this is what we are. This is the new consciousness. We do not have to go and conquer the world. We actually only have to come into our alignment, shine the light, be the light. Don't hide your light under a bushel. Okay, be the light. All of these things were taught to us, but we've had it back to front. We didn't understand. We were learning quantum living.
So
Okay.
it sounded so simple the way you describe it, where you just let it free and let it open, and you manifest what your wishes would be. It's almost similar to the law of attraction in my mind, because I'm not familiar with the law of acquisition. So let's go back to the conversation about the real application. Let's go to Marianne. What are your thoughts on this? I know you have wishes, that project you're working on. How do you manifest this? Marianne, if you want to share, please. You're muted.
I'm just listening right now. I'm learning from you, Ruth, because to me, it was taking action toward what we really desire is going to create what we want. But right now understanding, what you're saying is completely different. Again, we're talking about a struggle. We're still struggling to accomplish something. But what I'm learning from you, that there should be no struggle, right?
Absolutely. So we're not saying drop everything, because the passion of your heart as a creator is why you're creating something, okay? So you're already the creator. It's just now going, right, I'm going in, I'm becoming this. And when you learn how that happens, and I say, come and do 2 hours with me, okay? I'll have you sorted. I'll show you how to create in 2 hours, but you need to have that connection. And with that connection is absolute peace. And when you have absolute peace in the stillness of that holy instant, when you are in this, you have no issues. Now, I love this, okay? When you've got no issues, you are in alignment with your God self, your soul, your board of directors. Why do they call it the board of directors? That's my own quirky little thing, because that day that they said, would you put a wounded child onto your board of directors? And I'm going, oh no. So all my life I've been putting onto my quantum field this wounding. Well, of course, as a creator, I'm not connected to my triune being. And then I'm putting broken little me that has been influencing every creation.
Okay, it's fascinating, this whole concept of basically almost like you're in charge of everything, and that you can just let it go and acquire whatever you want. So let's go to Angie. What are your thoughts, Angie?
Yeah, no, I totally agree, because what we're seeking, we mustn't look on the outside for what we're seeking. We already have, because if I'm the divine and it is within me, then I have everything right here and right now. The only thing that needs to go is the mental construct and the beliefs that we are too thick, too thin, we are too old, too young, too stupid, too this, too that, too white, too brown, too whatever. And it's none of this. So the answers is always within, because everything we see and touch, even the imposter syndrome thoughts, it's from divine origin. So where's the problem? There is no problem. Right. So I'm loving hearing and listening to Ruth again. It's been a while. So thank you.
Thanks, sister.
And thank you, Ruth. This whole thing is fascinating. Let's go to Jane. What are your thoughts, Jane?
My thoughts are, hallelujah. We're seeing Ruth. Ruthie, it's great to see you.
It's great to see you, Jane, my sister, my soul sister.
Oh, soul sister.
Mm.
Yeah, and if you could let us know how we could get in touch with you. Do you do group sessions or just one-on-one? What exactly are you doing these days?
So I've done a lot of work online and masterclasses, as you know, but
Yes.
most of it, like when it comes down to the initiation process, it's one-on-one, okay?
Mhm.
I don't have a lot of hours though to take people through 30-hour schools, and so on my diamondmatrixmasters.net on my website, certain amount of it is soul initiation energy work. Okay, so there's so much that I have to do with a person. So about 6 to 8 hours of pure energy work in guiding your body through the changes that you're wanting to connect to with your meeting your triune being. After that, I do have some mixed modality, which is working with the mental body. So we've got the spiritual body, which I work with personally, 6 to 8 hours of work, and then we've got the mental and emotional bodies just need training, and so that's where I do Don't Play the Game, and Law of Acquisition is also about 8 hours in which you end up with manual. And after that, we do a diamond reconnection, which is a higher essence work that happens in organically opening up your heart center permanently, because generally we're in self-protection. So it is an initiation school, about 30 hours to come through, and that's all on my website. When it comes to healing, the diamond light body work and setting up your auric fields, and that is something that, back in the old days, we'd go to a healer for all sorts of fluffy things that we were concerned about, and it just takes so long for a healer to unpack it, and then they impart, and just that part is worked on. And then, of course, unless a person goes and understands what I've just been sharing today, they go and do the same mindset, all comes back in, and then their ailments are back. Whereas when you come into alignment, your whole body releases pain, releases mental anxiety. We remove and balance the pineal gland, which can heal schizophrenia. Okay, so within 90 minutes, we can actually have somebody set up that's been miserable in their lives. Okay, and it's just that energy work and the understanding. So the teaching is as important as the impartations. Okay. I love doing group work. I love speaking on this because we are imparting the consciousness just by being together. So, I mean, feel us as a group right now. You know this. Okay. This is not new to you because your heart knows it, your being knows it.
Well, we
Such
could
a joy.
always, yes, put the link on the women group chat. So, to get a hold of you. And Lori, what are your thoughts on this? Thank you, Jane.
Hi. First of all, thank you, Jane, for inviting me. And what a incredible surprise to be here and hear the infusion of this, because I believe every single word of it. Into my essence, I believe it. And I recognize my self-imposed suffering and how very important it is to take advantage of the work that you're doing personally, because there's so much there that unpacking can become an issue of its own. And your work really kind of bypasses more struggling and more suffering because it's all an illusion, and created illusion anyway. So I am just delighted to be here. It's really nice to meet you, and I look forward to really taking it, connecting with you with your work. I would love to take myself further because I wholeheartedly in myself believe everything you're saying, and it is the way. And I feel a spiritual obligation to my life. I feel grateful no matter what my path and what my suffering has been. The fact that I have a life in the quantum field means that I'm valuable in some way.
Yes.
And I want to express that value as gratitude for having the life that I have. That's my end game. And that's why I want to work with you.
That's awesome, Lori.
I love you, sister. Can I just reply to that if you don't mind?
Go ahead.
Yes, please.
What Laurie said, we're caught up, and it's only lack of knowledge. This is why we can let ourselves be free. It's just lack of knowledge. We weren't taught this. Okay, that's why we're here, to return this information back to us on what was meant to be given to us, but it wasn't taught to us. So there's no judgment on us then, is there? We're actually innocent, and we just do the next thing. But you know what? Each one of us. Oh, and what I was going to do is agree with you. I mean, counseling services and mental health and all of that just keeps you spiraling. Okay, we actually want people who, and we came together and we all put our hand up at the same time. There's absolute equality between us. We're all living essences. Absolute equality. And we, Laurie, you, me, team here, we all put our hands up to come here and meet up and to do this work. We've got work to do. I always say we've got things to do, places to go, and people to meet. So let's do that. And we've got true creation to happen, and the power is here now to create. And all of that is falling away. So a lot of people are experiencing right now a reframing. Actually, the frame is just leaving. Okay, so you're just going to feel that anyway because of the new earth consciousness that's here. But yeah, we can clean that up real quick and get you understanding. And it's awesome. I'd love to work with you. Thanks, Laurie.
Thank you. Joey, what are your thoughts on this? Joey? Joey? What can you unmute? What are your thoughts on this?
Hi, my net is a little weak, but can you hear me? Am
Yes.
I okay? All right. So thank you, Ruth, for sharing that. I'd like indeed what you just taught us now was very, very interesting. And I'd like to know more. As you know, my family practices law of attraction, and we do a lot of techniques that we use in trying to manifest things. Although I haven't really tried, opening these chakras, Reiki and all other deeper meditations. We really haven't tried those, but we'd love to learn more. So my question is, do you have like a pro bono session that we can take advantage of? Because it felt like that these programs that you have, it's a paid program. I'm assuming. So I'm just asking if you have like a pro bono session so that we can learn how to do or initiate the God self. Because you mentioned a while ago that you just have to get into that divine inner child and then just be it. So there are a lot of times when we do this, we think that, and when we do the meditations, the walking meditations, the lying meditations of Joe Dispenza, we've tried that, but there are of course times when we get distracted by all the concerns of life, right? And you're not 100% focused, and sometimes you question yourself. So it's not consistent that we're manifesting the things that we really want to manifest, especially in my case, because it's not just about me or my family. I'm more into doing charity works, and I had this big project this year, and I'd like to manifest more, not for me, but for the people that I'd like to help. So I want to learn more on how to do that, not to doubt yourself or just, just to get more.
Okay, so no, I don't do pro bono work because I don't have time for it, okay? However, if you book into my 90-minute session, I'll not only clear your brain chemistry, sort all of that out, plus set up your light body, teach you how you work, and you'll feel a diamond go through every particle as those pathways are cleared, okay? And when you come in, I'm teaching you quantum law and you're feeling and proving to yourself as the energy works, because I'm a facilitator that wants you to know your God self, okay? So when you understand that and then understand it by feeling it and experiencing, your mental and emotional bodies are not going to be arguing with me at the end of it. Okay, because I don't have time to argue with mental processing. So I would suggest to experience it, book in and do that. I love working with facilitators because you're the one that's got the crowd within, in front of you. So it's like, this is really important for you to understand. So you're actually passing on true information instead of something that keeps people caught in another 5 years of wandering around lost. So it's really important to get this in you. Otherwise, your advice is not correct. You even mentioned Reiki at the moment. Well, Reiki was a wonderful work that worked. And Reiki is 2 tones, Rei, Ki, okay, 2 tones that worked with the mineral kingdoms of the earth to bring it online for the new consciousness. So it had amazing impact, but that time has passed and that movement is finished, okay? We're coming into diamond rainbow energies now. So we've got, most of our people are still stuck in Reiki. And it's like, no, let that go. Okay, we're becoming into the diamond rainbow consciousness, the Christ consciousness, which holds all the rays, just 2. Okay, so we've got a lot of understanding to do. This book is brilliant. Okay, I still say, and I'm not doing this because who wrote the book? My soul wrote it, my higher presence wrote it. In it has got every high point of knowledge that came through to set me free. Okay, so I'm actually only repeating all of the goodies that came from my triune being, which is collectively your triune being, isn't it? So these are universal precepts which brings through the living creation, the living word, the living vibration. Okay, and that's the difference between using the mental body. I've also there's a section of my schools called Don't Play the Game. I would love facilitators to download that and it's 2 videos that I've done and I can't keep repeating it all the time. So I've put it up there so that you can purchase it. Run it in community centers. If your people are struggling and you're in services and they don't know how the world works, Don't Play the Game is really practical. I've actually taught it in mental health conferences. It's connected to your soul. It teaches you how this system works and also how alchemy works. And the second part of it is living principles that they can use straight away to go, oh, I recognize it. I'm not getting involved in that. I'm going to go and do what my soul wants me to do because that's my path. So it's really good. You can make as much money as you want on that. I've tried to set up things so people can use it and create income for themselves. Okay, you can actually just purchase it off me and then go off and run it as many times as you want out in communities for people because it sets you free. It set me free. As a trainer, it took me ages to put it all together because I'd keep meeting souls in crisis, like on a red-eye flight from somewhere, and I'll be going, oh my God, soul wants me to work and I'm barely awake sort of thing. And this poor person is like in crisis. And so I'd be mapping and drawing it out. And so I finally put it all together into I call it a multi-dimensional construct on an A4 piece of paper, but it's genius when you understand how the game works and how not to play the game. So there's all sorts of things that you can access. The law of acquisition is also on my website, so you can actually purchase about 14 videos. I think I've thrown in lots more so you can get that hub. But I just want to say one thing, Rini, and I know that you're giving me the luxury of time here, so thank you. But those first hours with me, bringing you into your God self, is your living relationship. So you can actually learn Don't Play the Game, and you can learn the law of acquisition. But that's going to teach your mental body, and your mental body does have to be taught. But I'm a Libran, and I'd rather you have relational connection with the true you, because that is what brings everything to life. Otherwise, I'm just teaching another brain information, and then you go off and say, oh yeah, I've got the information. And then we have again this superiority going on in the game. We're still in the game as a little world creator. No, living life force, the God self, sitting back and not creating through little will and through the law of acquisition is what sets you free. So I'm saying, use what you've got today, use what you've put in motion today, but build off it, okay, using your God self connection. So if you need to know, come and spend time.
Yeah, thank you for that information. I know we're getting close to the top of the hour. Ruth, are you okay if we go a little bit over or not? Just to get everyone
I'm
an opportunity to say something here. I know I saw Julie, and then if any of you need to leave, some of you have to work, feel free to do so. I'll have Julie and then Val after that. Go ahead, Julie.
Oh, I just wanted to praise, really, and praise all that praise, because Ruth's work's changed my life, absolutely changed my life. I've worked with her on and off over the last year or 18 months, and it's just been transformation. And yes, I do slip back sometimes, and I'm just coming again out of a period of that, and that was just simply circumstances with loss of my two brothers and a whole lot of things coming up. But you just said something that is the framework coming down, you know, the old framework. So I just thank you again, Ruth, for just reminding me of all these wonderful things that are so bloody simple, really. So simple.
They are when we know it.
Yeah. So thank you. I just wanted to say thank you. And I love you very much.
I love you to bits, Julie. Thank you. And you've been such a precious soul. And, you know, some of us have more to walk out of than others, you know, it depends on.
Tell me about it.
It depends on our path. Yeah.
Oh, it was good to come on here today and just hear you again, because every time you fill me with diamond energy and it's just healing, you know? Yeah.
Thank you. Val?
Well, I'd say that the diamond is my birthstone. And I like the clarity that it emanates. When we connect to source with this type of work that you described so well, Ruth, thank you for presenting today. It was exquisite listening to your words. There is this sense of dignity of self that we can regain, because we were created in love, and that cannot be destroyed. But we can move love, and by moving love with either actions or thoughts of loves, I mean, all those combined in our lives, we can accomplish big. Yeah.
Well, the interesting part about it, Val, and thank you for your kind words, we are moving love. You see, this is it, isn't it? It's the difference between the little pointy us thinking that we're separated and coming into our divinity, which is, no, we are love. We are unconditional love. We're golden light. If we could see ourselves from the God worlds and remember our total signature, we're actually so perfect. We're so beautiful, you know, you glorious beings of light. And when you actually open that up, then everything is possibility, because we just have more added to us as we're coming into it. So it's like, and it is, I love the word dignity, because we've lost our dignity. We really have. We've been taught slavery. Okay. And so it's time for us now to come into our God self creating, and it is exquisite. I mean, you feel your divine feminine, whether you've met her or not. Okay. She's exquisite. She is opulent. You cannot think big enough. Therefore, that's why you don't want to have your own little thoughts, because they are not big enough. They are not exquisite enough. Okay, what's coming is a world that's going to be set free because of your exquisite nature. The divine masculine is immaculate, immaculate. Okay, immaculate. Think these words and know that they are you inside yourself. It's delicious. But you are the one that is love. See the difference? This is where I love to tweak. This is not tweaking language. This is tweaking your alignment. You're either here, and this is what Julie was talking about. You know, we're turning around and we're back to front and upside down one moment, and then we come back into alignment. Okay, so when you feel powerful, and remember those times, because you've created perfectly in the past. And you know when it was 100% pure creation, best possible outcome. No question. That's the stuff. It's magic.
That's amazing. Kim. Bye, Val.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Ruth, oh my gosh. Sorry that my actual face is not on here, but my internet, I'm on my phone.
But can you speak a little bit louder?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
kind of, yeah, the sound is not as, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm having some internet. That's why my screen's off. Thank you so much, Ruth. I just thought that was so powerful. And I know this last year for me has been about the creation that I was born into and how unique we all are. And it's amazing how all the stuff that we allow into our creation that stifles us out of the beauty, that love, right? That center of our creation that filters into the rest of the world. So definitely us as co-creators, we're able to make a passionate difference, right? If only we believe enough in who we are as a creation. And I love when you talked about the red doors, that visualization. I found that not all of my red doors were open in the beginning. Trying to figure it out. Okay. And I saw that as a stall tactic to those little unknowns, those things that hold us back. And so my background is a coach of possibility, especially with women, right? Because we lose that. We know who we are, like who we are, or whose we are spiritually, we believe, but we forget who we are, like we're hiding out. And it's because we haven't allowed those red doors to fully open. So I love what you were saying. I was actually working out on my vibration plate as you were speaking, and I was just laughing because every bit of who we are is wide open to us if we just open those red doors. And that was beautiful. Thank you, lady. Thank you so much. What a brilliant, brilliant message you had. Truly
Thanks,
appreciate
Kim. Thanks, Kim. Remember that we don't want any red doors, okay? So fly those frameworks off you, because your God self is going to bring to you a thought, and then it comes. A thought, and then it comes. You move on each action, okay? You don't need creation streams nor wrapping of any sort. And you certainly don't need to mentally try and sort anything out, okay? This is where you're getting rid of the mental body constructs, okay? When you're in this place, you're not emotional all the time. It's just that we haven't been taught. And you sound so advanced, Kim, okay? It's absolutely perfect. But the people that you're dealing with, of course, they haven't learned this, okay? And so they may have to just hear these tweakings, and I love that because there's no judgment involved on the people themselves. They're just perfect. They just don't know how to pop their God self out. Okay.
Well, you know, Ruth, I work with women that have been trafficked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking a whole different level of trauma. And I truly believe that the inner feelings, those causes of discomfort in our life, is all because there are feelings that are deep down under that we haven't released and we haven't let go and allowed our own, you know, unique creation to manifest. And that is something that's been my journey. I mean, my journey 2 years ago began with my word was flourish. And I didn't really know what that looked like, you know, because we're held back. Society tells us that we're supposed to have this code that we follow, but we were never created that way. Where we're created from love and from uniqueness. And the only way we can serve the world truly is if we find ourselves within that.
If I can assist in any way or collaborate with you, I'd be very interested, because I also had to go right down deep into the nervous system and release trauma. And, you know, and that sort of work is healing nutritionally, vibrationally, energetically, and of course the message of the God self being within, and how we've chosen beyond our control things within our past, you know. So it's a very loving message, but if I could assist, I would be pleased to.
Yes, I'll definitely connect with you because it's I've been doing this for 18 years, but when you see the trauma, and I've worked primarily with young women, not adults yet, teenagers. So I just feel like the God within is telling me to get off my mat and to move. Because I've had visions of building. I'm actually in the process of partnering with building hope homes. So I call that honoring our personal excellence and the rescue of women that have been trafficked.
Thank
My
you.
heart is always to set people free. So the healing work that we do, even with the diamond consciousness, it releases vibrational stories. Just for people's knowledge as well, we do what's called a heart rhythm reset, which is wonderful on people traumatized, people with mental health, children who of course can't receive this greater concept. We actually do this diamond light work on the heart chakra, and it resets the heart chakra rhythm, which those vibrational stories and pain stories that have just overwhelmed us and shot our nervous systems to bits actually come back together. And this is great for FASD, people with attention deficit disorders, ADHD and stuff. You can have a look at the website as to the type of healing that we do.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Ruth, we're 11 minutes over and there are 4 more people that haven't had a chance to say anything. Are you okay still? Like 10 more minutes?
Happy to.
Okay.
It's a privilege.
Okay. Tamara, go ahead. Tamara?
Sorry, I always hit the wrong button.
It's okay.
So yeah, let me put my camera on. So I'm really enjoying this. At first I didn't quite understand the red doors, but then when Kim was explaining it, I was like, oh, now I get it. But the you know, you're talking about a Christ consciousness, and that is so accurate. Having that Christ consciousness and just being able to remind yourself that you are that consciousness. You have that ability to create your life the way that you want to create it. And I'm not sure how you do where you do the bypass, because it sounds like there's kind of a bypass of the ego work. And from my experience doing this work and working with others is that there is this repatterning that we have to do in our minds in order to be able to unlearn what we've been taught by society and parents and things like that, to relearn our Christ consciousness. I mean, when Christ came to the earth, he came to show us. He was pretty upset with the Pharisees because the Pharisees were teaching people wrong. So, and he like turned over the tables in the marketplace and, you know, and you don't see Christ upset very often. So when that happened, it was like, for me, it became very apparent that what we were taught was not correct, and that we do have an enlightened way through Christ. We have this way of being our own creators. And you also said that to let that other, for lack of a better word, crap go. All of that crap that has been holding on to us, you know, because of what's happened. It's like letting that go it's so freeing, for one, you know, but we tend to, the ego holds on to it because we've got to explain to ourselves, like, you know. But I would love to learn about that bypass. That's awesome.
Okay, well, let me give you a quickie on that one. Okay, so the Christ and all of the ascended masters say, be whole, be whole. Not once do they say, be on your face before the cross of Christ, okay, begging to God for salvation, okay, which I spent most of my life on my knees, worshipping something outside myself. And it wasn't until 1999, you can read in my book, how that turning around happened within me. Now, when you're taught that you're broken and you've got a living quantum field inside your body, what are you perpetuating more of? Particularly if you're not trained, okay, or not conscious of it. Whereas I'm saying I'm broken. So in every holy instant, I'm actually bringing brokenness into my quantum field. So this is what happens with disease, okay? I had diabetes yesterday, and this creates the continuum of time because I am the creator putting it onto my quantum field from yesterday to live today. Okay, and this is where the mindset industry doesn't understand it fully, what's going on. You have to understand you're a living creator with a quantum field inside yourself. And if you're told that you're broken, you're going to bring instead of whole. Okay, and this is why the Christ consciousness teaches us quantum consciousness, because you have to see yourself as whole. If I look on any single one of you as broken, I can't impart Christ consciousness. I'm just going to impart a mental construct that's going to keep you wandering around for another 5 years. And I don't know about you, I don't have time for that. So what he was saying all the way through was this living message of in a holy instant, be whole, be whole, be whole, impart wholeness, be whole, which is your God self present. And this is why I do nothing with your ego, because your beautiful little personality, you, has just been taught whatever it has. You've got nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to change or fix about that. It is only turn on your light body so that you are in wholeness. So when this setup is complete, and when you are actually brought into wholeness and into your connection with your divinity, then you haven't got any issue that needs to be corrected, because you're not in the law of reflection. So I've got a lot to share. Okay, it's in the book, but come into my teaching, because the law of reflection, if I believe that I'm broken, then I'm reflecting that onto my quantum field, and therefore I will live my vibrational world. And my board of directors goes, really? Is that what you really want to live? You don't have to live that. But okay, you've got a free will creator. And this is why in this time we're actually releasing the free will creator. If you could see it like a burning of a contract, your law of acquisition, you'll set yourself free. I'm glad I got that in, because it's kind of important. Okay.
Thank you.
Release that and be whole. No ego.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Tamara. Omeka.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, you just mirrored my whole life in the last week, especially. And I thought about you the other day. And and it wasn't you, it was, well, it was you, you are you. Remembering your presence and things that you said in Noble Goldman several years ago. And I was like, wonder where she is. And yeah, everything is really right there. Just have to bring your frequency to it and open your eyes and know that yeah, we are here for a reason. I'm here, and that all just awakened some of my purpose and energy centers and neurons and electrons and yeah, thank you. I just want to say thank you. Ashe, Aho, Amen, I mean, so be it. Blessings.
I'm honored. Thank you. Remember,
Thank
where two
you.
or three of us come together, I am in the midst. So we need each other to come into that power, and we're going to create amazing things together.
Thank you. Faith will be the last person here. I think everyone have had a chance. So Faith, if you, oops, Yanni's coming back here. Faith, go ahead. Faith.
Well, I would like to say thank you very much for this whole thing. I have to say, I was actually set my alarm to make sure I didn't miss this one or get sidetracked because we have a friend in the group, Kasha, who sings your praises like nobody's business. She tells everyone to get your book. And so I was like, I got to see what this Ruth Elisabeth is all about because she is so tuned in, turned on, and ready.
Yes, she is.
And everyone in the group is wonderful. But I just, I interact with Kasha as a friend and just have been extremely intrigued by her. I mean, she says your teachings turned her life around. And I am someone trying to turn my life around. I would say that fear's not just my nemesis, fear's my straitjacket. And I want to bust that thing off of me.
Yes.
So I've been searching, I'm searching. And I understood about the mental work that exhausts you. And I would love to bust open all my red doors and have it flow with ease. I'm going to be honest, I didn't understand all of what you said, but a lot of things you said resonated with me. I think I'd have to listen a few times. And also, I have to say, and I'm not exactly sure why, sometimes what you were saying made me cry. So I'm thinking maybe that's red doors opening. But anyway,
that my sweet is your heart opening.
It's been really interesting. It's been a pleasure to hear you, and I thank you.
Oh, thanks, Faith. Give Kasha my great love. She knows it's just free flowing between us. She's been amazing advocate for the work. When you have those tears, that is you recognizing from your innermost being, okay, that there is truth spoken. And so allow that heart opening, because when your heart opens, okay, all of your walls come down, and then you are that living creator. So that's what we do.
Thank you. Thank you, Faith, and thank you, Ruth. Yanni, you're the last person here. I thought it was Faith. Now, Yanni. Yanni, go ahead. Can you talk? Because she's at work, I think.
Hey, sister.
Hi, yes, I'm at work. But I just came a little bit late. I just, from everything that I was hearing, it's coming back to oneself. It's a lovely reminder because as everybody was talking and Ruth telling us that, we are the goddesses, and I think it's time to go back to that. So, I really appreciate that, and I I didn't know how much I missed your reels and your energy, like how amazing it is. So I really appreciate that. Love you.
It's lovely to see you, Yanni. Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ruth.
I want, we get caught up in, just following a little piece of ourselves. So I just want to remind you that is the divine feminine, divine masculine, and divine in child. Engage your total self, okay, in every part of creation, and trust and intuit, and that it's not just one little part of us that we follow streams on, like just the divine feminine, without understanding that is me. That is my total address. So take the whole of you wherever you go.
With that, thank you so much, Ruth. I see this like a reunion of the old group. Everybody missing you, Ruth. Everybody love you. I could see you're like the light here, emanating to all of us. So thank you so much for that. We are way past the hour, so grateful for you and your generosity with your content, and we're being overtime here. So do you have any last word before we part?
No, look, please come and see me if you feel to. I haven't stopped my work, even though I haven't been around so much. It's going on, and it's way more exciting. I used to understand only what level 1 was. That's why Diametrics Masters Self-Mastery level 1. Now I understand what level 2 is. So come on, and I can share so much more now. New consciousness is everything. It is pouring through your bodies. Just receive the codes. Okay, be it and follow your intuition. That's all you have to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you again, all of you, for your participation and contribution to this group. And Ruth, so grateful for you. So with that, have a great week, have a great afternoon, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you all.